Hi, Advanced Algebra 2. It's Mrs. Langford. We're going to continue with the Concept 40 notes where we first started adding and subtracting rational expressions. So if you remember, we did these examples in Part 1. Now we're going to look at a couple different topics for Part 2. So the first one is rewriting rational expressions. So you have done this before in Concept 39, 39 by long division. So rewriting a rational expression may reveal properties of the related function and its graph. So in concept, it was 38. You used long division to rewrite a rational expression. So you started with the complex rational expression, ax plus b over cx plus d, and then used long division to rewrite it into the simple rational function a over x minus h plus k. And that form is nice because we can tell all of the transformations when it's in that form. So let's just work an example. If you look below at example 5, you'll see the function that y equals 3x plus 5 over x plus 1. So using long division, we take the numerator and we divide it by the denominator. So we're looking at the x's and seeing what do I need to multiply x by for it to equal 3x? Well, I need to multiply by 3. So then I'm going to multiply that entire expression, x plus 1 times 3. And then I'm going to subtract that from 3x plus 5, which will give me a remainder of 2. And I rewrite that as plus my remainder of 2 over x plus 1. So now I have that rational function in simple form. So 2 over x plus 1 plus 3. And I can tell right away that I have a stretch by 2, that it's being shifted 1 unit to the left and 3 units up. So normally in this concept, I teach another way to do this, and it is called inspection. So if you go back to your blanks, you can write that down. So those are just arrows to show that we take the more complex and use long division to rewrite it into the simple rational form. So again, normally I teach inspection, but for right now we are going to skip this. This is actually just an extra thing that I do some years and not other years. If you're really curious, I have this section inked out in the notes under modules, so you can go and look at that file or download it and print it and see if you can follow the notes. I'm sure that you can. And so for right now, if you're following what I'm doing in this video, we're going to skip example 5 using the method of inspection. We did it using the method of long division. We're also going to skip A and B completely, rewriting these into the simple form. Again, if you're curious on how to use that new method of inspection, I gave thorough notes that are written out in a PDF key that you can find under modules. And then I say that here, so you don't need to know this method. If you're curious, you can look at my completed PDF answer key for Concept 40 under modules. So let's just move ahead. The last topic that we're going to cover under Concept 40 is simplifying complex fractions. So, and this now starts our Part 2 notes of Concept 40. So a complex fraction is a fraction that contains a fraction in its numerator or its denominator. So it is a fraction or more within a fraction. So it doesn't just mean that it's a little more difficult. It has a specific meaning when it says it's complex. And then it can be simplified using either of the methods below in that core concept that you see. So method 1, we're just going to talk through, but I'm not going to give examples. I'm going to focus on method 2. Method 1 involves, if necessary, you simplify the numerator and denominator separately by writing each as a single fraction. Then you divide the numerator and the denominator by doing the keep, change, flip method. so multiplying the numerator by the reciprocal of the denominator. We, however, are going to focus on method 2. This is a method that's a type of clearing the denominator. So what we do is we find, of all the denominators that you see within the complex fraction, we find a least common denominator, also called a least common multiple, of every fraction contained within the numerator and denominator. Then we use a technique where we multiply every part of the fraction by that least common denominator over 1. So it's a technique where we use the common denominator as a multiplier. So let's look at this one. Now you can really see what a complex fraction is. You have a fraction in the numerator and 2 fractions in the denominator. So to simplify that, we look at all the denominators, which are x plus 4, and x. And we build a common denominator from those. It's also called a least common multiple. So we need one of both of those terms. We need an x and an x plus 4. So that's our common denominator. Now what we're going to do is multiply each part of this complex fraction by x times x plus 4 over 1. So we're using it as a multiplier. Now if we start just in the numerator and focus on 5 over x plus 4 times x plus 4, we can divide out our x plus 4's, and what we'll have left is just 5 times x. So see, we've cleared out that denominator. Now we're going to look down below at the expression on the left. We can divide out the x plus 4's, and we'll be left with x times 1 all over 1, and we don't have to write that denominator. Then if we look at the expression in the denominator on the right, we can divide out the x's, and we'll be left with 2 times x plus 4. So this technique quickly clears all the denominators in each part of this complex fraction. Now we're just going to simplify. So what I need to do is in the denominator, I need to distribute my 2. I get 2x plus 8, and then I'm going to combine my x's. Finally, I look and see if I can simplify. There's nothing I can divide my numerator and denominator by. So that is my fraction in simplified form. So that's the method for how to simplify a complex fraction. Let's try another one. So now we have 4 fractions contained within 1 fraction on B. So we're going to find a common denominator between 6, 3, 5, and 10. So a little technique is to take the biggest number and then take multiples of that number and look and see if the other numbers will divide into it. So 1 times 10 is 10. 6 and 3 don't divide into 10, so I'm going to move on. 2 times 10 is 20. 6 and 3 don't divide into 20 evenly, so I'm going to move on. 3 times 10 is 30. All 5, 6, and 3 divide evenly into 30, so that's going to be our common denominator. So now we're going to take each of those 4 parts of the complex fraction times 30 over 1. So I take my first one on the left, and then on the right, and the lower left and the lower right. Now I'm writing that 4 times so that you can see how we divide out each time. So I'm going to divide out a 6 and be left with 5 times x in the upper left with just a denominator of 1, which I don't need to write. Now on the right, I can divide 3 from top and bottom, and I'll be left with 10x. So see, I have subtraction in the middle of that, so now it's 5x minus 10x. Then in my lower left, I can divide out 5, and so I'm left with 6x, or 6 times x, minus, and then I can divide out 10, and I'm left with 7 times 3, or minus 21. So now I just combine up in my numerator. I can factor out a 3 in my denominator. I look and see if there's anything else I can divide out to simplify my final fraction, and I can't. So that's my final answer. Now let's look at C. So notice we have denominators of x and 1. So our common denominator would simply be x. So I'm going to multiply each of those parts by x over 1, one at a time. So in the one in the upper left, my x's divide out, and I'm left with 2 minus 4 times x. Bottom left, my x's divide out, and I'm left with 2 plus, and then just 3 times x. I can divide a 2 or factor out a 2 in my denominator. Nothing in my numerator, nothing in my denominator. And then that's as simple as I can get it. I can't divide anything out. I hope you're getting the hang of this. Let's try this one. So notice with this complex fraction, we have denominators of x plus 5 and x minus 3. So I need to use both of those terms for my common denominator. I'm going to multiply all parts by that common denominator over 1. X plus 5 times x minus 3. Again, I'm writing that common denominator over 1 3 times, or by each of my terms, just so you can see what I get to divide out. So I'm left with 3 times x minus 3. Lower left, I divide out x minus 3, and I'm left with 2 times x plus 5. Lower right, I divide out my x plus 5, and I'm left with x minus 3. So now I'm going to simplify my numerator. Well, actually, I'm going to leave it factored in case I can divide anything out. I'm going to distribute my 2, and now I'm going to combine my like terms in my denominator. So now I'm just doing what I need to do to simplify. So nothing divides out, so that is my complex fraction now in simplified form. And that's all we can do. There's nothing to solve. Notice there's no equal sign in the original problem. I simply put an equal sign to the left so you can track the expression and keep track of the numerator and denominator, but we do not have anything to solve for x. Now look at this last one with me. So you participate in a sprint triathlon that involves swimming, bicycling, and running. The table shows that the distances in miles and your average speed, what they are for each portion of the race. So we're going to use the basic formula of distance equals rate times time. Now, question A says write a model in simplified form for the total time that it takes to complete the race. So using that distance equals rate times time formula, I'm going to rewrite it. I'm going to solve for time. So now I can see that time equals distance divided by rate. So I'm going to add a third column to my table with time. Okay, and so to find my time, I'm going to take my distance for each of those parts of the triathlon and divide it by what I know is the rate. For swimming, that's 0.5 divided by r, whatever that is. For bicycling, it's 22 divided by 15r, and for running, it is 6 divided by whatever the rate is, plus 5. So now the total time is going to be each of those parts added together. So that first expression is the time that it takes you to swim, and then the second one is the time that it takes to bike, and then finally the time that it takes to run. So that's our first answer. That's a math model, an equation for time in terms of the information that we've been given. Now look at B. It says, how long does it take to complete the race if you can swim at an average of 2 miles per hour? So notice that that's just R. So we're going to plug in 2 for R into our equation. So we have 0.5 divided by 2 plus 22 divided by 15 times 2 plus 6 divided by 2 plus 5. And so now, if you simplify, you would get approximately 1.84 hours. And then if we take the 0.84 times 60 for 60 minutes, that's about 1 hour and 50 minutes. So this is just a real-life example of how you can use a rational function to create an equation to solve. All right, that concludes our Concept 40 Part 2 notes. So now you can go and do the practice over Concept 40 Part 2 in Math Excel.